After the divorce, when they approached my ex-in-laws and James to ask about the money they had been promised, James told my family that that was not happening anymore. Apparently, it had only been insinuated that they would be compensated handsomely if they turned against me and testified in their favor, but there was nothing in writing to prove it. If my family tried to backtrack and tell me about all of this, then they would just make sure that they never saw my son again. So, for the sake of my son, they decided to keep their mouths shut, even though they were not even getting paid for it like they had been promised. But it got worse because they had been used terribly. Not only had they been manipulated to testify against me, but they were also being treated like free babysitters. James would drop our son off at my parents' place every single day, and they had to watch him while sacrificing their own time. It was highly inconvenient because even my dad and my brother had jobs to attend to, and my mother couldn't handle all the household work and looking after her grandson all by herself because she was getting old. So, either my dad or my brother would have to work from home every day, and it was becoming really difficult for them. This is why they had contacted me to finally put an end to this. Apparently, they wanted to strike a deal with me and said that if I gave them the money that my ex-in-laws promised them, they would take my side this time in court and make sure that I got custody of my son. I was about to suggest this myself, but honestly, it was not surprising that they did it. My family had always been very materialistic, and even more so now that my dad's business had failed and they were back to working jobs for other people. Obviously, they would want money more than ever now because my dad wanted to retire, but he didn't even have enough money put aside since he had put all his money into the business and it went on to fail. They said that they could concoct some story about how they had been pressured and coerced into testifying against me, so they couldn't be charged with perjury while under oath. But little did they know that I didn't actually need help anymore. I had been recording everything that they had said right from the second I stepped foot into the house because I knew that there was something messed up going on, and I didn't want to take any risks. So, I had everything on record anyway. Nevertheless, I told my family to send me the screenshots if they had any to prove that they had been used and lied to. Then, I told them that I would help them out and then left. I had already seen my son, and I had more than enough proof to file for custody again. So, that's what I did the next day with my lawyer, and this time I was prepared. The custody case is still ongoing, but one thing is for sure, I'll be able to prove that none of the things that James had accused me of had been true, and my family had been lying about everything all along. I've already played the recording, and that has swayed things in my favor considerably. James and his lawyer are literally scrambling for evidence in their favor, and I am taking it all in and enjoying the show because this is what they had put me through last time, and now I get to do it to them and I couldn't be happier about it. The only thing that's been less than ideal is that they have been claiming that I have also used them just like James did and that I had no right to record them without their consent and use it against them. But in my state, it's completely okay and admissible in court. So, I didn't understand what they were referring to until they told me that I had betrayed their trust by recording them. These are bold words from people who betrayed my trust first by taking my ex-husband's side in the custody case. They believed that what I did was wrong because what they had done was out of necessity. They needed the money, but I didn't need to screw them over and put them at risk of perjury because they had already agreed to help me out and testify against James and his family, so I didn't have to go behind their backs. They've been texting me relentlessly, and it's getting harder for me to ignore. Update 1. Hello everyone. The custody case is still ongoing, and James and his lawyer are trying their very hardest to prove that they have been telling the truth. Of course, they might be facing charges, and it's a felony, so they might get jail time.